Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Wyatt's World Extra, and welcome back to another WWE video. In today's video, we are going to be reacting to SummerSlam 2024 and also scrolling on WWE Reddit for a little bit and discussing some of the posts I see on there. Couple of plugs before we hop into it. Don't forget to use code Wyatt's World on G Fuel or Prize Picks, where you can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or win $50 instantly on Prize Picks with your first $5 bet after you use code Wyatt's World during sign up. But remember to always play responsibly, and let's get into the video. Alright, so starting off the video, we will be going through SummerSlam 2024, and right off the bat, I just want to say, over my short stint of time I've had in the internet wrestling community, I've noticed one thing about this group of people. They do not like opinions, especially opinions that do not go along with theirs. So, in other words, I'm about to piss a lot of people off. My initial thoughts on the entire event before I go through each match. I think SummerSlam 2024 was a fantastic show. I thought it was very entertaining, and I thought the booking was brilliant, considering I was 100% correct on my predictions. But the people saying it's the greatest SummerSlam of all time, you are tripping, you are glazing, you are on such a honeymoon phase, and I've noticed that's a reoccurring event going on after every pay-per-view that happens nowadays. Oh, this is the best Backlash of all time, best SummerSlam of all time, best Money in the Bank of all time. Like, it just seems like everyone's jumping to conclusions so fast, especially with this SummerSlam where people are glazing moments more than the actual matches. And with that being said, there was not a single bad match on the card, but at the same time, there was not one match that I think absolutely blew me away. Like, honestly, I would say SummerSlam 08, 09, 2011, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2021, 2022 are all equally as good to better than this SummerSlam. And that's a compliment because those were all great as well. So please don't think I'm just ripping on this event because I truly did like it. But also don't expect me to sit here and glaze every single aspect of it because that certainly is not going to happen. So anyway, first match we have here was Liv Morgan defeating Rhea Ripley with the help of Dominic Mysterio. I thought this was a terrific opener, and I thought it was just flat out a terrific match. Rhea was really selling her shoulder injury well. I like how they gave Rhea majority of the dominance in the match. That makes it realistic. I also thought it was really clever how they made it look like Dom was stopping Rhea from hitting Liv to, you know, help her win the title and not get disqualified, but in reality, Dom was just protecting Liv for the end of the match. The match felt real. The emotions were convincing. In my opinion, it was one of the best matches on the card. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Now moving on, we have Braun Breaker defeating Sami Zayn to win the Intercontinental title. This was definitely the dud of the night in terms of matches. I love the outcome, but this just felt really just like thrown together in the last 5 seconds, and they're like, all right, go put it on. Like, Braun misses a spear, Sami gets offense, they go outside for 30 seconds, come back in the ring, trade off for a little bit. Sami gets momentum, goes for the kick, Braun spears him again, and pins him. Like, there was a lot of explosive moves in a short period of time, but it was just feeling to me right as I was getting into it that's when it ended. I give this match a 6 out of 10. Now we've got LA Knight defeating Logan Paul for the US title. This one I initially on Twitter gave a 7, but I've rewatched it and bumped it up to an 8. So first off, the outcome was amazing, but the thing I originally didn't like about the match was how there was a big brawl before the match actually started. So when I thought the match was started, then the bell rung and it kind of just felt like the pacing was thrown off. But when you go back and rewatch it, it makes sense as to why they did it. These guys hated each other, you know, it's a big beef. Of course, they're just not gonna wait for the bell. They're gonna go at it. And not only was the brawl, you know, before the match really good, but the match itself after the bell rung was also really good. There was a lot of tremendous moments in it, especially out of Logan Paul. I enjoyed how physical the match was. I enjoyed the springboard moonsault from Logan Paul, and I love the buckshot lariat into the BFT ending. This match was a lot of fun, and like I said, I think it deserves an 8 out of 10. All right, now we've got Nia Jax defeating Bayley, and this is another match that after rewatching the pay-per-view, I'm actually going to bump up. I initially gave it a 6, I'm going to give it a 7. Now, my initial complaint about the match actually stands. It's the fact that the first 3 quarters of it is extremely slow. It's hard to get into it. It's hard to focus on it. But the last quarter of it, you know, like the last 4 minutes or so was absolutely fantastic. They go back and forth for a while. Both of them get big momentum shifts. Bayley hits an enormous powerbomb and then an elbow drop on Nia where Nia barely kicks out. That spikes a fake cash in by Tiffy. Well, maybe it was fake. I don't know. Which ends up turning into a distraction where Nia beautifully hits a jackknife powerbomb on Bayley and then a double annihilator for the finish. It was a good match. Just took a minute to get there. And Nia Jax, please make the jackknife your new finisher because you absolutely ate that shit up. Now moving on, we have Drew McIntyre defeating CM Punk. This is going to be my hottest take because I'm standing with it. I give this match a 7 out of 10, and I think for what I was expecting, this was underwhelming. Wasn't a bad match by any means, but it felt like every single time it was about to really cook and pop off, they would just stop and start yelling at each other, or Seth would break it up and start yelling at them, or there'd be something with the fucking bracelet. I get it. It's part of the story. But I was expecting this to be a non-stop heater of a wrestling match from front to finish, and it wasn't that. It had great moments, like I said, good match, but it kind of also felt like a soap opera in a way. I don't know. I expected a lot more out of it, and that's my problem. And I know when these two fight again, it's going to be even better. But I also think this match would have been a lot better if Seth would not have been the special guest ref. Next match is Gunther defeating Damian Priest after Finn Balor turned on Damian and screwed him over. First off, shout out to Damian Priest. You are a fantastic world champion, and I think that reign just set the pace for the rest of your career. And second off, I think this probably is the best match of the night. Now, I give it an 8 out of 10. It was extremely physical. It had its false finishes, but the pacing just never felt like the match hit its peak. And I get it. These are two enormous gentlemen. These are big human beings. So I understand it's going to be hard to perfect something like that. But for example, not once did I ever feel like I was actually watching like Gunther versus Sheamus here, or any of their 3 encounters for that matter. You know what I mean? And also, I really hate to be this guy, but if you go back and look at the part where Finn cost Damian the match, there's a pretty obvious botch there. When Dame hits the South of Heaven on Gunther, Gunther isn't close enough to the rope, so he literally has to fucking roll him over there closer before the pin. Like, it's kind of cringy, but I'm not letting that take away the entire match. Like I said, I think it was great, and I think it was the best match of the night. And now we have the main event, and that was Cody defeating Solo with the help of Roman Reigns. Another match that I gave an 8 out of 10, and this is more of the moment than the actual match, because the match itself I don't think was really that great. Like, it was okay. It was just a mini WrestleMania 40, just super overbooked, people coming in and one after another and fighting each other off. Until the end, you know, where Roman does make his return, giving Solo a Superman punch and a spear from the heavens. Like, Roman coming back, the moment, elite, amazing, generational. But does that really make the match a 10 out of 10? Like, be real. Also, shout out to Jacob Fatu, and I give him all my wishes. Like, that guy is an animal. He legitimately got hurt. He couldn't even stand up at the end. Rest up soon, man. I want to see you again, because you, other than Roman, are the most entertaining aspect of that entire Bloodline story. So that's my reactions for SummerSlam, and I hope you guys see what I'm saying by people glazing moments more than the actual matches. Like, yes, Dom turning, Finn turning, Roman returning, great moments. But were the matches perfect? Were they that awesome? Anyway, now moving on to WWE Reddit, there was just a few posts that I thought would be interesting to discuss, and this is one of them, talking about how SmackDown is going to get a lot better now that SummerSlam is done. And I 100% agree. For one, we're going to have a United States champion on weekly television again, which they definitely need that belt back on that show. And for two, the Bloodline story can finally fucking move on from just Cody versus Solo. Finally, Roman is back, so he can take over, and it's going to be interesting to see him feud with his own family. The only wish I have for SmackDown right now, though, is I would love to see the tag team titles in more of an actual meaningful rivalry / division. Right now, it seems like they're just moving them from people to people because they either want someone to look like they're powerful, or they just want people to remember that the belts actually exist. Like, if you're gonna have the Bloodline hold it, okay, that's fine, but have them actually, you know, like, wrestle on a weekly basis against other tag teams and not just involved in Bloodline only things with the belt. However, I am curious what they're gonna do, because I think Jacob is half the champion, isn't he? Although they could just probably switch over to Tongaloa or Solo even if they wanted to. Either way, both tag team titles have felt fucking useless since WrestleMania. I also thought this post was really funny. It's just saying what you remember from the COVID era of WWE. Now, he has a bunch of examples here, but this is entertaining for me to think about because this is like the one time in WWE other than last year where I actually just didn't watch. I just wasn't interested in it. I didn't like it without the fans. Like, when I think of COVID era WWE, I think of WrestleMania 36. I think of Seth Rollins with that weird ass Monday Night Messiah gimmick walking around with Buddy Murphy. I think of Dominic wrestling beside Ray when Dominic was really boring. I remember Randy Orton being WWE champion for like literally a day or 1 week, maybe it was. Same with The Miz. And I guess I remember Edge and Roman's little feud going into WrestleMania, which would have been 37, I believe. Like, don't get me wrong, there was some great stuff, and there probably is a ton of great stuff that I missed, but just watching wrestling without fans, even watching football without fans is one thing, but wrestling, like, you literally need people. Otherwise, it's awkward. And the last post I'm reacting to is this one, which says, I don't know how it would happen. All I know is it would be an intense match, and it's Braun Breaker versus Jacob Fatu. And there's a couple of ways they could go about it. Number one, they could have Jacob Fatu win the United States title from LA Knight and have him fight Braun at Survivor Series. Now, I want LA Knight to hold the US title for a lot longer than just November, but that is a way to do it. The other way is we could wait till WrestleMania, and WrestleMania could bring back the inter-promotional matches where they will fight each other. One guy from Raw, one from SmackDown. I remember back in WrestleMania 24, Batista and Umaga did it, and it was very entertaining. I mean, the possibilities are there, and I hope they do it, because this match would probably only be about 8 minutes long, but it would be a Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg on steroids. Give me what I want! And that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for me reacting to SummerSlam 2024 and talking about some Reddit posts. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope the WWE fans are happy that I'm continuing to provide content, because I want to make that somewhat of a regular thing. It's just I can't do it every single day. With everything I just said, though, I'm going to hop off and get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your week, and as always, I will see you in the next upload.